So in today's session, we are going to discuss
Um,
about,
I'm sorry, excuse me. Did you already send that to be copy pasted?
yes, I have pinged it in the chat
The
window.
yesterday's session?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about two more techniques. They are like BVA and ECP. BVA stands for Boundary Value Analysis and ECP stands for Equivalence Class Partitioning. So what is it and how to prepare the test cases by using these techniques? So let's discuss about it now. So once these techniques are explained, I will be giving you or showing you a big requirement document where there are so many requirements are there. We will be writing the test case for all those requirements one by one. So let's start with BVA. What is BVA stands for? BVA stands for Boundary Value Analysis. When to use that? So basically, you might be or you will be entering lot of data while testing any kind of applications or any kind of application. So in such cases, what is going to happen? You may have to input the data. Sometimes you will be entering the in number, sometimes you will be entering the text, sometimes you will be entering some other characters. So this particular technique will be used when you have two boundaries are available. So in such cases, if you want to derive the test cases, instead of thinking about much, so they have given a simple formula to derive the test cases. We will use that technique and we will generate the test cases here. So to understand this particular technique, I'll give you an example here. No, I'm not writing anything. I'm just showing that same technique and I'm explaining about it here. Okay, yeah. So when this boundary value analysis technique can be used, everywhere in every domain it can be used. For example, a bank told that every day every user can transfer minimum $20 and maximum $500. So here you have two boundaries are there. The minimum boundary is $20 and the maximum boundary is $500. Yes, we can use this particular technique, boundary value analysis technique. Second, a university told that every student has to register for an exam in between January 1st, 2018 and January 30th, 2015, right? So even in this case, you can apply the technique. Sometimes there is a possibility that in real time or in your real life, once you go to the project, so you will be having only one boundary. So for example, they don't say the lower boundary. Yes, I'm sharing the screen here, everyone. Is it not visible? Is it not visible to everyone?
Are you just sharing that, that white sheet where it's written ECP and BVA like that? That one?
Correct, correct.
Yeah, yeah, that one's visible, but you're not writing anything, right?
No, I'm not writing anything.
Okay, okay.
So maybe Nivedita, you have to log out and log in one more time. I don't know what could be the problem. Some technical problem with your system, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So sometimes there is a possibility that you will be having only one boundary. What is that? One boundary means. So one boundary in the sense, in the same example, just assume that previously what I told, to register for an exam, the minimum date is January 1st and the maximum date is January 30th. So they told in some requirements they may say that the maximum, they don't talk about any lower boundary. So the maximum date for registering the exam will be 30th January. So in such cases, we need not to consider the lower boundary, only upper boundary is sufficient, and we have to derive the test cases by using only that upper boundary here. So to understand this, I will give you a simple example. I'll just show you simple example first. Then we will write few test cases. So everyone kindly go on mute. Someone has unmuted from your side. Yeah. So I'll start with the bank example here. So what bank told? Every user can transfer minimum $20 per day and maximum $500. So if you have these kind of boundaries available, what you should do is you have to use a simple formula called minimum plus 1. So you need not to write this formula every time. This is just to understand or to give you a overview about this particular technique I am writing here. But in real time, as it is a very simple formula, whenever you have this kind of situation, you have to just memorize it and you have to come up with the scenarios. So minimum minus 1. And in the same way, maximum plus 1 and maximum minus 1. So what's the minimum value here? Can anyone tell me or sorry, ping me? What is the minimum value? Yes. So minimum plus 1 will be 21. Minimum minus 1, 19. In the same way, maximum values. So 500, maximum plus 1, 501, and maximum minus 1, 499. Now tell me if user try to transfer $20, whether system should allow or not as per the above requirement.
Yes.
Yes. So what about minimum plus 1?
Yes.
Yes. Everyone kindly use your chat windows to communicate. So what about minimum minus 1? No or yes? No. Because it is below the boundary. So we are the bank clearly told that minimum number of minimum amount every user can transfer is 20. So it is less than the boundary. So in such cases it will not be allowed. In the same way, maximum 500. So what should happen? Whether system should allow the user to transfer? Yes. Maximum plus 1? Viji, why it is
No,
yes?
no.
Yeah, it's no because it is crossing the boundaries. So maximum every user can transfer is 400, 500, and if you try to transfer 501, it should not allow. In the same way, 499,
Yes.
yes, it should allow. So this is how we should derive the test cases. It's a simple formula. That's the reason I told we need not to write it here, just to give a idea about this particular technique I have written here. So once you write the test case, once you derive the test cases, then you have to write it in our sheet. So how to write them? So let me show you an example. So in every cell, one scenario we should write here. Verify the funds transfer functionality by transferring how many dollars? $20. So what is the expected result? System should allow the user to transfer. And actual result, we have to open the application and then we have to try. So whatever the scenarios we have derived here, for every scenario, we should write one test case. So just copy the same and paste it here multiple times and change the value. That is more than sufficient. So you every time you need not to write it manually. So upper boundary 21. No, here I'm not talking about a particular functionality. I'm just giving an example. So that's the reason there is no precondition here. So whenever you go to application and if there is something, yes, at that time we will be writing it. So going forward, whatever the example I'm going to give or the mini project I'm going to give, there we can write the preconditions. I'm just trying to explain the technique here. So 500 and then 501 and the last one $499. So here system should allow the user to transfer the amount in how many cases, except in 2 cases, remaining all cases should be allowed. So here also it should be allowed, here also it should be allowed, and only in 2 places system should not allow the user to turn. Okay, so that is one case and this is the other case. That's all. So here we are not going to test anything because it's just a technique. I'm trying to explain that, and going forward, yes, you can do the practicals also. So now what I'll do, I'll give you one simple example. You should write the test case for it. Um, so this is the technique. I mean, this is the use case. Even in real time, you will be getting the requirements in the same way. So here they're talking about a login process. A login process, user ID and password to authorize users. User ID allows alphanumeric in lowercase from 4 to 16 characters long, and password allows alphabets in lowercase from 4 to 8 characters long. So they told that there is a username, I mean, there is a login page which has username field and password fields are available, and username field will accept only alphanumeric characters in lowercase from 4 to 16 characters long, and also the password field allows alphabets in lowercase from 4 to 8 characters long. So in this case, actually we can apply two techniques on this particular test case. One is BVA and the other one is ECP. So ECP I didn't teach, not yet teach, so you have to apply only BVA here. Because they have talked about the length part. So the minimum number of characters any username can accept is 4 characters and the maximum is 16. So now everyone please go to your sheets and start writing the test cases for it. Only for this part. Okay, let me copy and paste it here in the notepad. So here this is the one, and here you just forget about the alphanumeric in lowercase. For this I will be applying one more technique. Okay, only for this particular part you have to write the test cases, and also it should be in the proper way. So it should be in the descriptive format. Don't write any numbers or formula in the Excel sheet, whatever you are using, like minimum, minimum plus one, minimum minus one. That is just for your idea, I have explained before. So you have to just convert this particular requirement into multiple test cases. So just write it, and at the end I will explain you. Today I don't come to each and every sheet. In one of the sheet I'll show you. So accordingly you can modify so that we can cover more scenarios today. Matthew, I guess it was already sent by Nandu. Didn't you receive that? Fine, Kanina. I did. Okay, could you please give me your mail ID, Matthew? So, Nivedita, I already have sent the video. I have pinned it in the chat window. Please watch it. So I'll send that information also. So for now, everyone, please try to write the test case here. Yes, Matthew. Jerry Matthew. Okay, so let me find out where is your sheet. So which one was your sheet yesterday? Did you remember? Okay, Feb 3. Huh, it's there. Yes, I have sent it. So Karina, the requirement is here. You can just see my screen and you can write the test cases. So the requirement says that user ID allows a username. So I'll write like this. User ID field allows a user ID from 4 to 16 characters long. So this is the requirement. So Jerry, did you receive it? Raj, ping me your email ID. Everyone kindly save the mail. Even for the next 2 days, we will be using the same. So it will be helpful. So which sheet was that, Raj? Did you remember? I found it. Not a problem. Yeah, I have sent. So write it in the descriptive format. Don't put any numbers. Don't put formula in the test case sheet. So try to write it in the proper way.
Hello, I think someone is writing on my sheet.
Oh, okay. So everyone, please use your sheets. Just check your name and then write the sheet. Write the test case. Please don't write it in other sheets and also don't use Nando's sheet. Please go to your sheet and write it. It will be difficult to find out who has written what. Once you are done, please ping me. Then I'll show you how to write the test cases in my sheet. So if you made any kind of mistake, you can update that by saying that. Yeah, you will be writing in the same Excel sheet, Preeti. So I'm just giving an example here. I mean, I have just written the requirement here. That's it. So you have to write the test cases only in your sheet. So these are different test cases. So yesterday, whatever we had written, so all those steps belongs to one single test case. But here, these are the different test cases. We are testing with different values there. So that's the reason it should be in different cells, different rows basically. So what is that two statements, Harini? I didn't understand. No, it's a generic username field, Karina. Yeah, I'll show you Preeti because I cannot come to each and every sheet because it takes a lot of time so that it will be difficult
I
to
did it.
cover more. Yeah. So that's the reason
Did
I'll
it.
show you in one page. Yeah.
Okay, I have my audio. I got in through my phone now, and I'm watching my laptop.
hmm
So so this is a user ID for a bank account.
It can be for anything.
Oh,
So
it can be for anything.
it's a generic test
So
case, a generic requirement, so it can be used for any kind of page. So it's okay.
so we can just assume it's opening a page,
Yes,
either email or bank account page.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So Harini, you need not to ping here. I'll just show you. Okay, verify whether the user has minimum of 5 characters. Okay. So everyone kindly go on mute. So only when you have some questions, unmute from your side and talk to me. Someone is still not on mute. Either it will
Hello,
be
should
in.
I have?
Oh, okay.
Hello,
Yes, please.
Aditya. Do we have to write negative test cases?
So you have to use that formula, whatever I have explained. And if you can write using that formula, normally you will be getting the negative scenarios also here.
Okay,
You need
thank you.
not to write it anything separately if you use this technique. So everything will be covered here itself.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone take another 2-3 minutes time and complete it. Then I'll show you how to write the test cases. Then you can compare, and if you have done something wrong, you can update that.
Yeah, Aditya, this is Kailash Mishra. Can you see mine?
Yes, I'll just explain you in 2 minutes, please.
Yeah, excellent. Take your time.
So Davani, you need not to execute anything here because we don't have any application to execute. So we are just trying to understand how this technique is going to work. That's the reason I am writing the test case here. So going forward, whatever the examples I'm going to give, at that time you can validate and you can verify what is happening in the application, and based on that you can update the actual result, and then you can update the status as well. So such kind of examples I will be giving. For this particular scenario, you need not to write any pass or fail status because we are not working on any kind of application. It's a generic requirement.
I don't know, somehow I can get into the chat, the class chat room. I can see everything, the screen, the GoToMeeting. I don't know, somehow I cannot go into the chat room. Is there any specific screen for that, or
No, in GoToMeeting window, you will find an option called chat. So if you click on that, you would be able to see everything.
I can see you posted the stuff like hello everyone and the link, but beside that, I cannot find anyone else for my class.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. Um,
I
I,
guess some kind of
sorry.
restriction in GoToMeeting. So that's the reason only for organizers it is visible.
But I should see previous classes. I was able to, chat, but I don't know.
Okay, I will check it out. Maybe I don't know, some technical issue. I don't know what exactly it is, but I'll find out.
Yeah, at the end it's just showing me the organizers only, presenter only, online testing.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I don't see my classmates, the window. That was I was wondering. Yesterday I had the same problem,
Okay,
but today I was thinking might be I'm able to get into it, but unfortunately not.
sure.
The same with me. I can't see your chat. I can only see my chat.
Maybe some kind of restrictions. I have to find out what is the settings which I have to check.
Other
Yeah. So
same thing with
I'll find out and I'll let you know.
no problem. Thank you.
So I hope everyone has written the test cases. Now let me show you how we should write the test cases. So here, so they are talking about a username field. So they clearly told that user ID should be minimum 4 characters and the maximum should be 16 characters. So in this case, so what is the technique and how many scenarios, how many test cases we should get here? Can anyone tell me how many test cases we should get? Why 4?
Two,
Someone has said 4.
two test cases.
Hello?
Why 2?
4 because, okay, sorry.
Yeah, tell me. Why 4 because?
4 because one should be, you put in a password which is, just give me 1 minute, let me come to my page. So you put in a password which is between 4 to 16 characters and it comes to pass.
Mm-hmm.
And then one where you put in a password 14 to 16 characters and it becomes fail. And then another case where you put in a character outside of, I'm sorry, the second one is where you put in a character which is too little, less than 4.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is where you put in characters more than 16.
Mm-hmm.
And a 3, I guess.
Okay, just now we have discussed about a formula. What about it?
The boundaries.
Yes.
So it should be 2. No, it's showing
Should
the
be
minimum and the max case only 4 to 16. So
Yeah,
it should be
so
2.
no, in the previous case also we were talking about banking example. So the bank clearly told that daily the every user can transfer minimum $20 and maximum $500. So whatever the formula we have applied there, even there we have two boundaries. One was minimum and the other one was maximum. So whatever the formula we have applied there, the same formula you have to apply here also. So that's the reason the similar kind of example I have given here. Whatever the domain it is, it doesn't matter. The formula doesn't change. So why this technique came into picture? So normally whenever the developers try to code their application, and if this kind of scenarios comes, they have to use some kind of conditions. So while using that conditions, if they make any mistakes, then that particular part may not work correctly. For example, so here, while putting the condition less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, if they use just less than, then equal to condition doesn't work. So to check whether the developer has developed the application correctly or not, we have to test around that particular boundaries. So here also the same thing, that is minimum, same formula, minimum plus 1, minimum minus 1. Most of the students have given correct answer. So maximum plus 1, maximum minus 1. So minimum characters where I'm going to test is with 4 characters, and minimum plus 1 will be 5, and minimum minus 1 will be what? 3 characters. In the same way, maximum 16 characters, maximum plus 1 15, sorry 17, and maximum minus 1 14, sorry 15. Now tell me, if user try to transfer, sorry, if user try to enter 4 characters username, the system should allow or not?
Yes.
What about 5 characters?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone kindly use chat windows, that will be easy to communicate so that others will not be disturbed. So, okay, what about 3 characters?
No.
And in the same way, 16 characters.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll keep everyone on mute. Maybe by mistake someone has unmuted from your side. So what about 17? No. 15?
No.
Yeah. So that's all. So always you have to remember this formula when you have 2 boundaries are available. Sometimes there is a possibility that they will directly give a numbering like, okay, the maximum number of characters user can enter is 16. In that case, so let me show you. The max number of characters a user ID field allows is 17 or maybe 16. Then in that case, we have to apply only this particular part. So only maximum part is sufficient. So we need not to cover these 3 scenarios. If it is the first case where they have given the lower boundary and the upper boundary, then both the techniques you have to use, both the formulas you have to use, minimum minus plus and minimum minus 1, and maximum plus 1 and maximum minus 1. So when they have given only one boundary, then accordingly you have to choose one of them. So once you derive this, then you have to write the test cases. Oh, someone is writing in Nando sheet. Everyone kindly check where exactly you are writing and update your test cases. Okay, I guess Nivedita, you are writing in Nando sheet. Please go to your sheet and try to write it. Your sheet is third one. Okay. Okay. So here I'm writing the test cases for the scenario. So verify username field. Verify the username field by entering how many characters. I am going to start with 4 characters. 4 characters. Username. So here system expected result, system should allow the username. So please observe here and update your test cases accordingly. I will give you one more example also. You can do it now itself. So I'm just copying and pasting in remaining cells. Verify the username field by entering 5 characters. 1 second please.
Actually, I'm opening my sheet. Actually, you my data.
Sorry? Who is that? Oh, 1 second. There is some problem here.
Yeah. That was actually I wrote on there and I did it from my email. I don't know. I think I opened my own sheet. That is my sheet, the first one.
No,
And I'm
first sheet is Nandu's sheet. His name is visible, so somehow your information was available there. But no problem, you can go to your sheet now and you can write it. If you face any problem, let me know. I'll check it out.
no. I'm trying to get into my sheet now. I'm going through the email which I got it from, but I'm not getting to my sheet.
Okay. So
That is
what it is showing there? So what kind of information is it showing? Some kind of error or something?
no, it's not showing me the error. Actually, when I go through my email, I open the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me it's the same sheet open as the Nandus have it. So
No, by default, Nandu sheet will be open because that is the first sheet in this particular document. So along with his sheet, you might be seeing some other sheets also. So you have to use the third one here. Your name is showing here in the third place. So are you able to view my screen? So here you can observe. So your sheet is the third one. So previously you were in the Nandu sheet. Anyway, just check it. If you want, I can come to your screen and I can help you. Not a problem. So verify the username field by entering 3 characters and 5 characters and here 16 and 15 and 17. చూడాలి మీటింగ్లో చూడాలి దాన్ని బట్టి ఇంకా నేను ఇంకా చూడాల. హరి హరి ఆది ఎయిర్టెల్కి కనెక్షన్ ఏంటి? అది పాస్వర్డ్ ఏంటి? హ్యాష్ ఉందా లేదా? Hello everyone, are you able to hear me now? Hello everyone. Sorry, there was some kind of power failure, so that's the reason it was disconnected directly. So now I hope you are able to hear me.
Yes.
Okay, so here I'm just updating my test cases. So almost done. So system should allow the username, and only in two scenarios system should not allow the username. And I'm just going to put that information here. 15 characters, with 5 characters it should allow, with 16 characters it should allow, and with 15 characters also it should allow. Only with 17 characters it should not. So system should not allow the username. That's all. So this is how you should write the test cases whenever you have two boundaries. When you copy and paste, how do you change the number without deleting the whole test case? Okay, just copy that for one test case and paste it in all the cells and then update only that numbers, Sonia. That's how I'm doing here. Is it clear to
Yeah,
everyone?
that's what I'm trying.
Yes, sorry.
That's what I'm trying to do. But when I click on it to change the number, then everything deletes.
Okay, you have to double click on it so that you will be able to
Oh, double
keep your,
click on it.
yeah. So
Okay.
then
Okay.
only it
Got
will
you.
allow you to keep the cursor on that particular area.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. So any questions here? Is it clear to everyone?
Hello?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so I can't see your screen.
Maybe you have to open that GoToMeeting window to see that. Already I'm sharing here.
So that would be the formula will always be used in BVA. I mean the boundary value analysis always. That's the formula. We have
Yes,
to
yes,
keep that
yes.
whenever
That,
we have to write the case.
yes. So wherever you have two boundaries are there or two input conditions are there, always you can go ahead and use this simple formula to derive the test cases.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So minimum value to max value, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Okay.
So where do you want me to click? I mean, I can't see any link or anything where I can click and see the screen.
I don't know. So you're able to talk to me. That means that it is live.
Yes.
Session is live.
Yeah.
So you have
So
to.
just now you got disconnected for some reason, and then it was showing that if in case you return in 5 minutes, then we can continue the session or the session will be ended.
Oh,
So
okay.
after that, you got reconnected, and I can't see the screen
So
now.
please do one thing. Just log out from GoToMeeting and log in once again, so that you will be able to see. Maybe there was some problem. Yeah. So just log out and log in. That problem will be solved.
Aditya, I have a question for you.
Yes, please.
So do we call test case? I mean, our test case and use case are the same or they're different?
No, both are different. So from each use case, you will be deriving multiple test cases.
Could you please repeat that?
No, both are different. From the use case, we will be deriving the test cases.
Okay, but we haven't seen the use cases yet, right?
Sorry, you use cases you will be receiving from normally in real time. BS also will be preparing the use cases. How to prepare that, I guess you will be learning in the upcoming classes.
Okay, all right, yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
And I have one more question, Aditya. So how do the test case language here, do we need to use our own sentences, or is it based on the requirement we need to use the exact language, or how do we do it?
So you can use your own language, but it should be understandable to everyone. So that is the only condition. So you have to read the requirement. According to the requirement, you should use, or whatever the way you want, you can write that. But it should be understandable. So once you start writing, almost everyone will write it in the same way. For one requirement, maybe the words they might be using little different, but everyone will be writing in the same.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So now let's see the other technique here. The other technique is ECP.
Aditya, I have a question
Yes,
before you
please.
move on.
Yeah.
So, like you said that when you have the lower and the upper boundary, that's when this analysis is used. Now, you gave another example wherein, we don't have a lower boundary and we're just using the maximum one,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that also comes under this only, right?
Yes, correct.
And similarly, if you just have the lower boundary and the maximum is not there, again, it falls into the same category, even though we just have one boundary.
Yes. So that time only you have to, if it is the only minimum boundary, you have to use minimum, minimum plus one, and minimum minus one. That's it.
Okay. All right. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Aditya,
Yes,
can you please write the requirement before the test case in the spreadsheet? It's just for reference because that will help us for further use.
definitely. I'll write it here. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So anyway, that's what I was showing here in the beginning, and then I have written the formula, and then I have explained how to write it. So this is the one. So do you want me to put it directly in the Excel sheet itself? Hello?
Just the requirement for the further for our other users, because then when we check this one again, then we can follow that. Then this is the test cases for this requirement.
Sure, definitely. I'll do that. So maybe I'll ping that requirement in the chart window. You can copy and paste it there. Okay. So the next one is about yeah, ECP technique. What is ECP and how to use this technique? ECP stands for equivalence class partitioning. So what is this equivalence class partitioning? So whatever the test data is available, or whatever the data we are planning to enter into the particular field to test that application, so that test data should be divided into two parts, that is valid and invalid. If you take the same requirement once again, so here this particular requirement says that user ID allows alphanumeric in lowercase from 4 to 16 characters long. So previously we have covered the test cases for 4 to 16 characters long. Now we are going to talk about this particular first part. That is, user ID allows alphanumeric in lowercase. Just read it, then I'll explain you how to derive the test cases if you have such kind of information available. So what they are saying, can anyone explain? Whatever I have highlighted, please read it and let me know. So what should be done here?
System should accept alphanumeric in lowercase.
So what does that mean? What kind of characters we should enter there?
Alphabets and numbers.
Only
Alphabets and numbers.
only small letters. Only
Yes.
small letters.
Only in lowercase. Yeah.
Yes. And
Lowercase.
that particular combination will contain both alphabets and numbers, and that alphabet should be in lowercase. So is it a positive scenario or a negative scenario?
It's a positive.
It's a positive because they clearly told that always we have to enter only these characters to to log into the application or as a user ID. That's what they are saying here. So is that sufficient if we test with only these positive characters and positive data? Is that sufficient in real time? No, because we should also know what is happening when user enters some kind of other characters. Okay, so maybe sometimes what will happen when user enters wrong characters or wrong information, there is a possibility that either system will crash or the system will give him in the access even if he enters wrong information. So that kind of thing should not happen. So to make sure that we do also write the negative test cases. Okay. So now let me derive multiple test cases. So before that, just give me only 1 minute time. I'll be back and I'll show you this.
Rajiv,
Okay. So let me go back to the sheet once again. Okay, someone has a question. So what about the password scenario which was 4 to 8 characters long in the previous example PVA? So I didn't understand your question, Dhani. Okay, let me complete this technique, then I'll talk to you. Give me 2 minutes. So I don't want to confuse everyone. So at present, again, we are talking about the same user ID requirement. There is no difference. So previously we have covered only length part. So how many characters should be there inside the username? For that we have written multiple test cases. Now in the same requirement, they are also talking about the type of characters which should go inside the username field. So that's what I'm going to show here. So here we have to use the technique called ECP. Everyone kindly go on mute. Someone is not on mute.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to go on mute. This is Pradnya.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
let me keep you on mute. Okay, so here
Gosh, can you?
again it's unmuting. So you need not to click on that. I'm muting you. So just
Oh,
don't click on it once again so that it will not be unmuted. Okay, so here I'm going to write two categories, valid and invalid. So as part of valid, whatever they have told, the same information I am going to put here, nothing else. So what they told, your username should contain alphanumeric characters in lowercase. So alphanumeric means A to Z and 0 to 9. And also they clearly told that this alphabet should be in lowercase. So that's the reason I have written like this. So we have to expand it later. So I'm just identifying the maximum possible scenarios. Later, whatever the way we have written the descriptive test case, in the same way we are going to write it there. I'll show you that. Now, can anyone tell me, okay, just ping me in the chat window, that is sufficient. So tell me the invalid scenarios now. What should be the invalid scenario?
Special characters.
Special characters,
Space.
uppercase. Okay, so A to Z. Okay.
Space.
Yeah, everyone kindly ping me. So uppercase letters, other than that, uppercase letters and spaces, special characters. What else? Anything else? Yeah. So whatever you have mentioned, yes. So no one has pinged me like only numbers, only alphabets, because they already told clearly that your username should contain alphanumeric characters. So it should be a combination. Okay. Yeah. So ECP stands for equivalence class partitioning. So as part of that, we will be dividing the input class into two parts. One is valid and other one is invalid. So as part of valid, whatever they have mentioned, the same information I am going to put it here. So let me copy and paste. Let me ping the requirement also here. So whoever wants to keep it in your Excel sheet, you can keep it now. Let me ping here. So this is the requirement. Now, as part of invalid, we should not enter alphabets in uppercase. and only alphabet cannot be used, only numbers cannot be used, and what else? Special characters cannot be entered, spaces should not be there, and blank, we should not keep that particular field as blank. Okay, so these are the different scenarios we should use to derive the test cases. So I will
Can
explain
we
you.
try the combination? Sorry. Can we try the combination of alpha and special characters?
Yeah,
Does it allow?
yes, that is also another negative scenario. So whatever the maximum possible combinations are there, all possible combinations you can try. So because they clearly told only this character should be allowed. Other than that, if you enter anything else, system should always throw a error message saying that this is not a valid combination or this is not a valid username. Okay, so lower or uppercase doesn't affect the number. So does it become invalid to have it testing? So in your combination, so whenever you are trying to create a username with the alphabet and numbers, so whatever the condition they have told, that condition should be satisfied, Sana. Otherwise, system should display error message. So I will explain you what is ECP. ECP stands for equivalence class partitioning. So here we are dividing the input class into two parts. One is valid and the other one is invalid. Most of the times in the requirement, the BA will be talking about only positive part, and sometimes they will be talking about some constraints. Okay, this should not be allowed, that should not be allowed. But they might not be able to cover all maximum negative scenarios there. In such cases, this technique will be useful for the testers. So what testing team has to do? So they should think about all maximum possible combinations and they should try to write the invalid scenarios here. As part of valid, whatever was there. So in the requirement, they told that alphanumeric characters in lowercase should be allowed. So that's what I have mentioned as part of valid. A to Z and 0 to 9 numbers combination should be allowed. And as part of invalid, I am writing all remaining things. Only alphabet, only numbers, and only, alphabet with numbers in uppercase, special characters, spaces. So in between the username, even if you use a one special character, system immediately should display error message because that was not mentioned as part of their requirement. Okay. Yes. So this is called equivalence class partitioning. So let me put it here. Okay, so once you derive this, what we should do? We have to write the proper test case. So in one requirement itself, if you remember, in one requirement itself, they are talking about the length and the type of characters which should go inside the username field. But what I have done, I have divided that requirement into two parts, and on one part I have applied BVA technique, the boundary value analysis technique, and the other part I have applied ECP technique, that is equivalence class partitioning technique. If you combine both the techniques and if you try to derive the test cases, you will get so many test cases, so around 100 or something, because there you have 6 combinations are there, and 6 into 8 or 10, around 60 test cases. That is not the way we should write the test cases. So always you should try to minimize the number of test cases and you should take care of the complete application validation. Sorry. So let's write it in the descriptive format. After explaining it, I'll give you one more assignment now. So verify the username field by entering alphanumeric characters in lowercase. So the expected result, system should allow the username. The next one. So let me just copy and paste it instead of writing the complete sentence. So verify the username field by entering alphanumeric characters in uppercase. And so verify the username, the third one, scenario 3, verify the username field by entering only alphabet. Alphabet as a username. And what else? Only numbers. And then, so alphanumeric characters with special characters. Lowercase with special characters. And verify the username field by entering alphanumeric characters in lowercase with some spaces. So you will get so many combinations. How many you are able to write, that many you can write and you can test, because we should know sometimes what will happen in real time whenever you try to enter special characters or maybe spaces, system will show you a error message because developers will not think all combinations while developing the application. So due to that, whenever user try to enter some kind of special characters, system will throw a error message. To avoid that problem, always we have to check that and we have to document what is the result. So system should not allow the username here. In remaining all cases, system should not allow the username. Is it clear? Any questions? What is ECP and how to apply this ECP? And what is the background about it? Any questions?
So Aditya, if at all we try different combinations and make test cases, whether they are positive or negative, there shouldn't be any limitation, because then this way, if one scenario fetches 6 to 7 test cases in different combination, we might end up with like more than 60 test cases for just one single project.
Yes, definitely you will get it. But that is the tester's duty to come up with the maximum possible scenarios and test the application. So we never know what end user is going to enter. By mistake, he might be entering some characters. In such cases, if some kind of error comes, he will not feel good. So that's the reason as a tester we should cover it. And also I understand it is difficult to execute all these test cases every time. That's the reason that we have automation in real time. So whatever the manual test cases are there, all these manual test cases will be converted to automation scripts and will be executed in real time. So that will take care of it, execution part.
Got a question for you, man. So why don't we just say what works and then like have say everything else should not work? Like, isn't there a way we can?
What is that everything else?
So basically, let's say they only want.
That's what in the requirement. One second, please. So that's what in the requirement they have said. So who will test what is that everything else is not working? That is the tester's duty.
Correct, but then, correct. No, I agree. But then there's going to be so many options, but there's unlimited options, though, right?
Yeah. So
like there's unlimited options that we.
Yeah, I understand your question, but we have to write it. There is no other way. In real time.
Okay.
Because we have to make sure that sometimes what will happen, because of some characters there is a possibility that the database will be corrupted, or sometimes the system itself will hang. So as a tester we have to make sure that in all these combinations the application is behaving correctly or not. So that's the reason the manual testing is a hectic job, and the companies are trying to reduce the manual testing efforts in real time by introducing the automated tools. So in automated tools, you will write the code. All these combination of data we will be keeping in one of the Excel sheet, and automatically it will run multiple times and it will give us. So the work of the tester will be reduced. But at least we have to make sure that whether all these combinations are covered or not, and whenever the user enters this kind of data, whether the system is populating a proper message or not, that needs to be verified. These are the standard techniques which are developed by the experts to avoid the problems in real time. So what I understand, if the requirement says the combination of alphanumeric is correct, isn't, but when it's so, Maumita, could you please unmute from your side and explain what you are trying to ask here, because it's not clear to me.
Yeah, hi Aditya. I was asking, like, when it is alphanumeric, right? So it's saying that it is alpha plus it is numeric. It is not saying, like, according, if we exactly go by the statement. So it is a combination of numbers and alphabets, right?
Correct.
So can it be only numbers or only alphabets?
So,
Because it is, like you said, it comes under invalid. So I don't understand why it comes under invalid, because
yes, I understand your question. Right question, good question. In real time, whenever you have that kind of confusion, so here, as I'm just giving an example, so going forward, we will see more that kind of situations. So whenever you have such kind of questions, normally we have to contact the business analyst, because the requirement is saying that alphanumeric characters in lowercase. Yes, as a tester, I may get a doubt that. So why not only alphabets or numbers? In such cases, first you should talk to the business analyst. If business analyst confirms that okay, only alphabets also can be entered or only numbers also can be entered, then even those things will become a valid scenarios.
Okay.
Okay, so it is
Yeah, thank you.
completely depends on the business analyst and the rules whatever they are going to define. So nothing can be done from the testing side. So if the tester has any kind of questions, he should not take any decision on his own. So they should talk to the business analyst once it is documented clearly, or if it is clarified, then only they should change their test cases. But whatever the question you have
Okay.
asked, it is a valid one. And going forward, I will be showing you some more scenarios like that to give a real-time picture.
Okay, thank you, Aditya.
Yep. So any other questions? Fine. Now I'll ping you one more requirement. So kindly write the test cases for it. So this is related to password field. So don't combine both ECP and boundary value analysis technique related test cases together. So write separately, even it has two parts. So that is, password allows alphabets in lowercase from 4 to 8 characters long. So let me copy and paste it in the chat window. So you need not to write the formula there. Directly try to write the test cases. That is sufficient. I hope you have received it. Oh, it doesn't have the. I'm pinging one more time. Okay, it is going to only one person. Let me ping it to all. Yep. No, I didn't share any documents till now, Nibeta. Just today I have just given only video related to the last class. So this information I'll send it through mail. So everyone kindly write the test cases for this particular requirement. Use both the techniques. These are the standard techniques which will be used even in real time. ping me once you are done here. Then I will try to show you the scenarios. You have to derive multiple scenarios. Don't write like don't mix the invalid and the length part related test cases. In few cases, so write them separately. It will be easy to give them more combinations. Otherwise, you will get huge number of test cases if you combine both the techniques. Okay, please write it. I'll be back in 2 minutes and then I'll review it. So is it done? Okay, so what I'll quickly show you the test cases, and maybe at least we'll talk about that particular requirement, and I'll try to derive the test cases. Then you can also write it. Sure, Preeti. Yeah. So why I'm writing in only one sheet is like it will be difficult to, I mean, if someone wants to verify those test cases, it will be difficult. That's the reason I'm keeping everything in one sheet itself. Yeah, if you want me to keep in some other sheet, that's okay. I'll do that.
I did the first one, but the ECP ones. So do we write it by valid and invalid like that?
Yes, you have to. I mean, you need not to write it separately, whatever the way I have showed here. So did I divide them?
You said valid and then invalid. So that's how we
Yeah,
write
only
in two different
in
boxes.
Notepad to explain about it, I have separated them. While writing the
Huh.
test cases, I didn't separate them. So I have written all the test cases one after another.
Oh, let me see. I didn't. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this now. Fine, Avinash. Thank you. So here, let me put it. I'm just removing the existing data. So total, how many test cases we should get? So as part of boundary value analysis technique, we should get 6 test cases. And for ECP, we have to see there is no limit. Depends on the maximum possible combinations, we can derive it. So we'll see that also. So what is this requirement talking about? Password allows alphanumeric in alphabets in lowercase from 4 to 8 characters long. So first we will talk about this length part. So here the minimum number of characters which should be accepted as a user, I mean password, is 4 characters. And minimum plus 1 will be 5 here. Minimum minus 1 will be 3. And in the same way, maximum 8 characters, and maximum plus 1 9, and maximum minus 1 7. So minimum number of when user try to enter 4 characters, it should allow or not? Yes. So minimum plus 1 5 characters, it should allow. 3 characters, no, it should not allow. And in the same way, 8 characters,
Yes.
yes. And 9 characters,
No.
no. And 7 characters,
Yes.
yes, because it's below the upper boundary. So definitely it should accept it. So this is the BVA technique, related test cases. And you have to write it in the descriptive format. And the next thing is ECP. So I'm just showing this for example here by writing in a separate notepad. So you need not to do that directly. You can go ahead and write the test cases in your Excel sheet itself. Just for understanding purpose, I'm showing in the separate notepad. So as part of ECP, we are dividing into 2 parts, valid and invalid. So as part of valid, what should be there? Password allows alphabets in lowercase. Alphabets in lowercase. So what does that mean? So only alphabets A to Z in lowercase. That is the only condition they have given. Other than that, if you enter any other characters like numbers, special characters, combination of alphabets and numbers, so yeah, uppercase alphabets, nothing should be accepted. So A to Z cannot be accepted, and yes, so special characters should not be there. What else? Spaces should not be there in between the password, and small a to z and 0 to 9 combinations, I mean alphanumeric characters should not be allowed. Only numbers should not be allowed, and
So does
alphabets with special characters cannot be allowed. So many combinations you will get. Yes, we should try the maximum number of things and then we have to test it. At least first time we should take care of it, because as I told you before, there is a possibility that some combinations might not be handled by the developers, and whenever user by mistake he enters, it will give him a error message. So normally end user doesn't want to see such kind of errors like 500 errors etc. in real time. So in such cases they will, and that too if it is a banking application or a insurance kinds of applications, so it will be, we have to be more careful. Yes, it's a hectic job to write these many things, but there is no other way. Yeah, someone has a question. So we only use BVA for numbers, only write, and ECP for other. Other means, so where you have the other combinations of test cases, if you want to derive, then yes, you have to use ECP. BVA basically use it for boundaries. Whenever they talk about specific numbers, number of characters, or a specific date, or in all these cases you can use. And also, for example, take ATM example. So ATM, the bank told that ATM will allow you to withdraw minimum $100 per day and maximum $1,000. So again, you can apply the same technique there also. So that's how you should use it, and you should derive the test cases there. So
So,
every special character you need not to write separate test case. All for all special characters you can write one scenario, that is sufficient.
I got disconnected in between. So did you write it on your Excel sheet already, the test case for
No,
the
no,
ECP style?
no. I'm
Oh,
just
no.
showing here in the notepad. I have just derived the test cases and I'm talking about it.
Okay.
I didn't write any test cases there in the Excel.
Okay, okay. So we will write in our Excel then?
Yes, yes.
Or no?
You have to write it in your Excel. I guess all others are already written. So yeah, you can also write the same. So any other questions? Okay. So in test cases, when do we use BVA and ECP? Okay. So that's what we are discussing about here for the last few minutes. So basically, if your requirement is talking about two boundaries, then you will be using boundary value analysis technique. Boundaries in the sense the minimum value and maximum value. So even in this case, the password field allows minimum 4 characters and the maximum 8 characters. So you have two boundaries are available, two input boundaries are there. So in such cases, BVA will be useful. And ECP, equivalence class partitioning. Most of the times, the business analyst will try to write or give only positive scenarios. So positive information in the requirement say that user will be allowed to log in with correct credentials. So what should happen if a user enters with wrong credentials? That we have to think about. But yeah, that I'm just giving an example. Nowadays, yes, they are also covering almost all the constants. What will happen if user enters some other characters? They have to define a proper message also. So in such cases, you will be using ECP. Okay, is it clear? Yeah. Yes. Okay, 1 second. Let me answer one by one question here. So when one or two SC are accepted, we have to highlight it. What is that? What is that SC, Momita? I didn't understand.
Hi, Aditya. I was talking about the special characters,
Huh.
like where by mistake, one or two special characters are, the developers have forgotten to put it in, or
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
what happens then?
So
And it
then
is
we
being
have to,
accepted by the
yeah,
system.
if it is accepted, definitely we have to report it as a defect. to the developer, saying that
Or
this
else
guy.
it is not necessary to write the test cases and just to manually test it. That's it.
No, we have to write the test cases, but if the system is accepting the special characters, definitely you have to go ahead and report the defect to the developer. Then developer has to fix it because the requirement clearly says that it should accept only alphabets in lowercase. If anything else, if you enter and if it accepts, it is a defect.
No, like as you said, no, like for every special character, we do not have to, write it,
No,
write
what
a
I'm saying
separate
is
test
all
case.
special characters you can put like this, and you can try once.
Okay,
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 one by
okay.
one, yes, it is difficult to write. So at least if this combination, what I was trying to say is sometimes what will happen if whenever you try to enter this kind of characters, system will give you 500 error. That means that the server will not be able to understand what kind of data you are sending, and immediately 500 error will be displayed on the screen. So which is a biggest problem. So such kind of things should not be there.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
In the test case of putting a password in the lowercase alphabets and going to try many different combinations of lowercase alphabets. Sana, could you unmute and ask me your question, please?
Sure. Okay. So my question is, this in our test case we've written that enter password in lowercase alphabets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we are a tester, are we going to use just any combination, like one combination of lowercase, for example, Sana is the password, we write
Mm-hmm.
lowercase SANA and test it, or are we going to try different combination like Sana dal diya, S and dal diya, you put Mike or whatever, different combinations, or
No,
is
with
there they're
one
just
type
going to
of
put one
characters
in?
we will test with, test only once. That is sufficient.
We'll do one, and there's no minimum requirement or anything that try these many
No, no.
combinations.
So if you start
Okay.
writing that many, you will get huge number of test cases, but at
Yeah,
least
that's
in one combination, you should try to cover one test case. That is more important.
okay. All right.
We
Okay.
have to check
Thank you.
one at a time. So we'll characters.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, these are about different techniques, and tomorrow I am going to start with another example in real time. Whatever the way the requirement document will be available, the same kind of requirement document I will be opening here, and you will be writing the test cases, and you will be also doing the actual testing on the application by opening some application. So this is the document which I am going to use tomorrow. So I'll just give a background and we'll close this session. And tomorrow, immediately whenever you come back for the session, we'll start writing the test cases for it. So this is the link which is given in this document, and below that I have given a screenshot. So this is the Google sign up page which has so many fields are available here, like name field, choose your username field, password field, etc. For every field there are different requirements are given here. Okay, so for name field there are two sub requirements, and choose your username field has around 5 or 6 requirements. So what I'll do tomorrow, I'll be pinging one by one requirement. So first thing what you should do is you have to read the requirement clearly and write the test case. Write the test case in the sense you have to write the steps and expected result. You need not to write the actual result immediately. After writing the test case and after writing the expected result, you have to open the application and you have to perform the testing. And whatever the result you are going to get there, that you have to copy and paste it into your actual result, and accordingly or based on that you have to update your status, either pass or fail. So in real time, the same thing is going to happen whenever the testing starts. So BA will be providing the requirement document. So by the time the application is ready, the testing team will write the test cases and they will keep everything ready. Whenever the application comes, they will execute one by one test case by following the steps whatever they have written in the test case document, and whatever the result they have got, that will be captured and it will be also documented there. Okay, then they will compare the actual result with the expected result. If both are matching, then they will pass the test case, otherwise they will fail it, and then they will go ahead and report the defect. So this is the practical example which we are going to do it tomorrow. So yeah, for now for every requirement I'll ping it in the chat window. You can write it later. I will also share this document with you all. Is it clear? Any question?
Okay, Aditya. Aditya, the thing is, I wanted